Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head.
Yeah, Star Fox looks different. Yeah, so Nintendo announced a new Star Fox, the fourth Star Fox 64 story, but you know what? The game looks really good, the graphics are super crisp, and for the most part, I like everything I see, but then they showed Fox! So Nintendo decided to go with a realistic animal approach to the characters of Star Fox, which isn't a terrible idea. I feel like the problem is the way it's executed, because some of the characters don't look too terrible. Like, I don't think Slippy looks that bad, he just looks a lot slippier, like he's shiny, he's glossy. And Peppy's always had his rabbit features, so he really doesn't look that bad either. I think a lot of it is just certain angles and profile features, because why does their neck do this? And I also think it's the way animal characters translate to real human proportions, because birds don't work. But once again, I think it's just an angle thing, because in some of the scenes he looks awful, but then you look at his official artwork and he looks kind of good. In fact, all of their official artwork looks pretty good. It's just one or two things that makes him look a little off. Like Fox's feet just look too small here. But like I just said, Peppy and Slippy look completely fine to me. And even Slippy has normal looking feet and all his proportions look right. But I did happen to notice something. Look at these head-to-head comparisons. For the most part, Fox looks pretty much like his old counterpart. But specifically, look at Fox's eyes here. His eyes are smaller and more realistic looking compared to his bigger cartoony ones from Zero and also Battle for Atlas. Falco, they just gave him realistic looking feathers on his face instead of what used to look like fur, but also his eyes are a bit smaller. And his legs. Slippy looks pretty much exactly the same. He even still has those over-exaggerated big widened eyes. And Peppy's head might be a tiny bit skinnier with some over-exaggerated buck teeth, but besides that, that's definitely Peppy. His eyes being red could have stayed the same, but they once again went for more of a realistic brownish red approach. Now, some people online edited these characters with these changes in mind to their eyes and to their leg proportions, and look at how different they look. This one is from Anthony312 on Twitter, and it actually makes him look very similar to his original counterpart, but just more realistic, which I think looks really good. He even gave Falco the same bird legs, but just made them slightly bigger to fit his proportions better, and look how much better it looks, especially with his cartoony slanted eyes that he used to have. And Elpadalt on Twitter has done the same thing, and just pretty much recreated the character's eyes, and it makes them look so much better. I'll be honest with you, I'm not as down on the new designs as others are right now on the internet, but this would definitely improve them so much. And Nintendo, you've got to fix those legs. Because how is bro gonna possibly work in Smash Brothers? But let's take a look at Team Star Wolf, because Wolf looks pretty good. Honestly, I don't have many complaints. He looks like he should, and his eye patch actually goes around his head this time. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, his eyes are just more realistic and smaller. It's the only real difference. Andros' nephew, Andrew Oikony, went through some pretty crazy changes. I mean, he looks like a real Planet of the Apes-like monkey now compared to what he used to look like, which was just a dork. It looks like they're making him slightly more serious. And I actually really like it because I don't know what they were doing with his ears. Pigma this time just genuinely looks like a villain. He looks like a bad pig, and he's as pig-like as you can get, which I think still looks really good. His eyes are not entirely all yellow and glowing this time around. He just has yellow pupils, but I think Pigma looks fine. He looks more like a douchebag, which he should, because he's the one that took out Fox's dad. And even Leon looks really good. I just hope we don't ever see them out of the cockpit with their full bodies, because I'm sure some of them are going to look weird, but yeah, Leon looks like a lizard. However, yeah, some people were not as lucky. I don't know what they did with Cat. Cat looks completely different. She's no longer a pink cat for one, which was already weird because they changed her again in Star Fox Command. Like, this is literally supposed to be the same person, but she just looks so off. Like, I guess obviously it's more realistic cat look, but they changed her color to a white fur. Her ears look strange. She looks deranged. She doesn't look sweet and cocky like she was in the original game. She looks mean and just angry. I don't know. They even got rid of her little hair at the top of her head. It's just now sticking up and it's painted red. Now the last two I think look really good, and I feel like it's because they're dogs. For some reason, dogs translate better in their human proportions, or maybe their original versions just look better as dogs as well, because Pepper looks perfectly fine. If anything, I think I might even like his new design better. I think the eyes also help because originally they were also small. And then we have my boy Bill. I believe he's supposed to be a bulldog, but he looks absolutely perfect still. Once again, I think dogs just translate better, and also it helps that you can't see his eyes, so they completely cover it with a visor here. But I lied because we have two special characters to look at. We have Fox's dad, James McCloud, which always looked just like Fox, but with sunglasses, and hey, guess what? He still does. And of course, we gotta have the main villain, Andros. And I'll be honest with you, I think Andros looks way better. I was not a big fan of his redesign in Star Fox 64 on the 3DS. I feel like his ears looked too weird as they were pointed out, and I feel like they gave him too much skin detail. I don't know, with his like moles and freckles and the way his lips and mouth looked. I think he looks way better now, but the question is, how are they going to approach Andros this time, because they always change the way he works, and let me tell you what I mean. In the original game, in the SNES, he's this giant metal head, but it seems to be some sort of robotic device, as it's able to transform and warp into different things, including into a giant cube-like structure with his face plastered on all the different sides. I don't know what they were doing with this one. In Star Fox 2, it's once again a big metal face, this time looking more like a mask. But then it changes into what looks more like an Andros face with metal components to him, like some of his finger digits are actually metal, and one of his eyeballs has a metal piece hanging from it, almost like Cyborg from the DC universe. And oh yeah, he also has a cube with his face all over it. Now, Star Fox 64 and also Star Fox 64 3DS, they appear to make him more realistic, like this is actually his floating head with two metal hands. In the normal path you fight him, it looks like his skin rips off, but it's just a metal face underneath, so it seems like plastic covering metal. But for the true final boss path, it actually is a lot more grim. It looks like his skin rips off and leaves nothing behind besides his brain and his eyeballs. In Star Fox Adventures, he's connected to a Krazoa spirit statue, where the backside of his head is just a giant hunk of metal, and the front side of his head is his real face. And we know it's his real body this time because in this game, he turns translucent and you can see right through his head into his brain. And in Star Fox Zero, they go back to making him purely a robot. In fact, you don't even fight this version of his head. It's only seen through the glass of this giant cylinder that he hides in as an illusion, because as soon as you pass through, you can see his true robotic form. So it seems like they're trying to make Andros less gruesome by primarily making him a robot. Whether it be his real brain is inside the robot or his soul, I don't really know how they're explaining that. Well, thank you for going on that Andros history lesson, because here we are with the new Star Fox Andros, where he definitely does have his skin and fur, but you can tell it seems to be kind of plastic wrapped over a robot. You can see lines all over his face and his hands, and you can even see two giant jets poking out of the back of his head. But since this is essentially a remake of the Nintendo 64 game, we know that we're gonna have a final extra boss fight against his brain in the final phase of the true route. So, is his real brain in just a robot body? Which I think would make the most sense. Where the skeleton of Andros is still in there. By skeleton, I mean brain, cords, and eyeballs. But regardless of how they approach him this time around, I think he looks pretty great. But what do you think of the new character designs in Star Fox? I forgot it doesn't have a subtitle. It's just Star Fox. Let me know what you think of these new designs in Star Fox for Switch 2, I guess we'll just call it. Do you like them or dislike them, or do you just straight up hate them like most of the internet seems like they do right now? Because personally, I'm fine with them. Yeah, sure, I think some of them need some tweaks. I'm looking at you, Cat. But personally, I don't think they look nearly as bad as the way people make them out to look. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day. And make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Star Fox. And I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.